everyone. Welcome to Hispanic Conservative. This is Celia. How are y'all doing? Man, this whole thing with the White House and Zelensky and this whole thing. I was even after we had like Keir Starmer, that's already kind of like one down. And Keir Starmer, he's a liar, right? Okay, real quick about Keir Starmer. He comes over here and he says, "Oh, we value free speech in the UK and all this other kind of stuff." And I'm just looking at that guy like, what are you talking about? If you go look at some of the, I guess, the commentators about what he said when he was at the White House with President Trump, like Talk TV or whatever, or maybe even GB News, Katie Hopkins, even maybe, I don't know if she did anything about that, but it's like this guy's a liar. I mean, I think I did see one this morning on from Talk TV. It was a couple of gentlemen, and I don't remember their names because I was getting ready to go to work this morning. So anyway, they're talking about. To me, Keir Starmer just came over here and lied and said, "Oh, UK has a great record of free speech and this and that." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? When you go and arrest people for saying something, maybe even something about you, like me, if I say Keir Starmer's a liar, and maybe one day I go over there, but what are they going to arrest me too? For real?" you know because I mean, this is what's happening in Germany. Another short story. The German people voted AfD higher than the conservatives, the percentage of the vote, but the conservative party is not going to go with AfD. They're going to go with the lefts and probably some of the greens. You're going to get the same old, a lot of immigration, people coming into your country that shouldn't be there, crime, assaults, whatever you want to call them, however you want to label it. It's all bad news for you German people. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Maybe there needs to be a secession, the East from the West part. Or somehow there's got to be more AFD local, like what Nigel Farage is doing with the, I can't, well, with Reform UK, right? Trying to get local people, Reform UK for the cities or whatever their counties or whatever they call them over there, to make not just at the high levels like MPs and whatever, but even in the local area, right? Get more Reform UK. They need to do that over there in Germany with the same thing with AFD. Now, getting off of that, Zelensky, President Trump, in the White House, and everyone's there, Marco Rubio, JD Vance, right? And then, Zelensky goes into this rant about, you know, well, for one thing, we gave him a lot of money. And I say gave loosely because I don't know if we're going to get that back. I want my money. I don't know about you. We're all taxpayers, United States people. I want my money back. I want my money to be for me or for us. Help my neighbor, help somebody down the street, some veterans, whatever, that kind of thing. My money should not be going to any foreign country at all. That whole foreign aid business has to stop. And the problem is, even though Doge is cutting all these programs, and even Marco Rubio canceled a lot of contracts with the State Department, and every secretary of whatever needs to do that, cancel and cancel contracts, keep the money, save it, let people go, get rid of the buildings that they're supposed to be in and they're not, right? Sell them, do whatever. Get that money, put it in the treasury, get rid of the IRS, get rid of the Department of Education, get rid of a lot of those people in the FBI that are deep state, that are still trying to destroy records, especially about Epstein and whoever else was in there. And like I said before, it's not just politicians, it's Hollywood people and whoever, people with money. And some people may be passed away, but also remember, who you think is passed away, who you think is dead is alive, and who you think is alive is dead. One thing, okay? The other thing is, remember, we're watching a movie. So a lot of this is after the fact. I guess I should put it that way. So this whole thing with Zelensky in the White House, and I did read a comment. Somebody said, well, he is an actor. So was this the whole thing? I don't know. But President Trump looked pretty pissed. I mean, and JD Vance was trying to explain something. And even Marco Rubio earlier in another interview had said something about how Zelensky goes and he signs a contract or makes a deal, whatever, and then he goes in later in person and changes his mind and makes this whole thing, which is exactly what he did today, because Marco Rubio said before they had a deal, and then he comes in and he's like, "Oh no, we don't have a deal." And then I heard on another British channel that Zelensky had made a deal with Keir Starmer before even Starmer came here, before Zelensky came here. So I don't know, maybe, and that's why he was saying, "Oh, I have to get with my people to see if we can make this deal, whatever." Okay, so he was going to make this deal, and he came over here, and they did the whole thing, and then he goes into this whole rant about Putin did this and he did that. And I don't even remember if he said him by name, because some of the things he said, I couldn't understand everything with his accent, right? And then he goes, and then JD Vance is telling him, well, we're trying to help you. What are you doing over here complaining, coming to the Oval Office and telling us stuff, giving us the business? Well, we're over here trying to help you and stop your people from dying and get peace in your country and this and that. And, he's like, yes, we want peace, but we want guarantees. And Trump is like, you have no position. You're losing, dude. You're losing. You're in no position to make what do you call it? Demands, right? You're in no position to make demands when you're losing. You have to take what you get. And that's the way it is, right? And then he's like, well, ask the people about the ceasefire, how it didn't work last time without, and Trump is telling him that was because Biden was in charge, and Biden was, asleep at the wheel, right? So he's like, that's not me. That's not me. That's the other guy you made a deal with. So whatever happened there, like President Trump had nothing to do with that. Nobody in this administration. So if you want to come here, you're going to have to start new. Basically, I think you're going to have to start new. You're going to have to accept what you can get, give up the Donbass, because, and he was saying that he was bombing Ukraine and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, if you know what's really going on, you know that the Ukrainian army was throwing bombs that way at the Donbass, because those people decided they didn't want to be part of Ukraine. They wanted to go to Russia. And that's the whole deal. But people keep saying, oh, Russia invaded Ukraine. Well, no, those people in that part of the country wanted to be part of Russia. They're Russian speaking, they're Russian descendants. You know, Putin came in and he said, okay, we'll come and defend you. They brought a medical care. They're like, you want a Russian passport? All this other kind of thing for those people because they wanted to be part of Russia. But the Ukrainians who are part of like the NAZIs, yeah, um, were trying to kill, I don't know, is that the word? Destroy the people that were in that area, so I don't know. That's why those people wanted to leave. I mean, since the whole Maidan situation that happened back more than like 10 years ago, these people have been trying to not get killed, but they keep throwing bombs their way, right? So it's like, we want to be part of Russia now. Please help us. And Putin said, okay. They kept asking him for help, and he's like, okay, we're coming in. But then the news, the deep state news came out and said, oh, Russia invaded Ukraine and it's the beginning of the war. Da, da, da. That's not what was really going on. For 10 years or more, these people were getting hit, destroyed. I mean, the land is destroyed over there. Speaking of, like in one of my other videos, I was talking about Lahaina, I was talking about Gaza, I was talking about Haiti, how they look destroyed. This is how that part of Ukraine looks, because they had sent all these bombs over there, you know, and it's really useless to keep fighting. I mean, Ukraine is lost. No matter how much detail they tell you, and even like a year ago or more, oh, Ukraine's winning and the Russians are losing and we need to send them more money. All these people that are supporting Ukraine to the death and more money, you guys really have to stop. You have to stop. We cannot. I don't want to. No. Ask me. Let me vote. Do I want to give money to Ukraine? No. Do I want to give money to Israel? No. Do I want to give money to any foreign country? I do not. I do not. So this whole deal with, you know, I don't know, when I heard about the rare earth minerals and I was kind of like, well, but then that means we're going to be over there. What are we doing over there? We don't need to be over there. Just cut our losses. You could repair a car so much and get a new transmission and new tires and whatever, but something else is going to break down. You know what? Even though you spend 2,000 more dollars on repairing your car, you just have to know when it's time to just give up that thing and be like, okay, let's just start over. Let's just throw that thing out and move on. This is what we need to do with Ukraine. Even though I do want my money, I want some of that money back, but I don't know how we're going to get it without being involved in what's going on over there. So if we want to get our money back, we have to stay there and get the minerals and then they get our protection. Why? Why? I don't want, I mean, you want to send private people over there. They want to work over there. They want to, okay, fine, but not our military. We need to get out of a lot of Europe, right? And I've been seeing a lot of commentators talking about, you know, they're afraid that the US is going to back out and they're going to have to defend themselves. Good, you should. Defend yourself. These people that are in charge need to get rid of, I don't want, I don't know, stupid laws about not defending yourself, not owning guns. I don't know. Really. It's just, these people can't defend themselves and then the government goes crazy. The whole EU is a whole other story if you know what's going on. I saw some other video about these people giving Ursula von der Leyen the business, and they said she was crying, but I couldn't see it on the video. And I'm just like, that woman needs to stop being so my way or the highway. I don't know what's wrong with that woman, but anyway. And that's the whole NATO, UN, EU, all deep state, WEF, WHO, deep state, money, 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 money thing. And I'm like, why are we even in all that garbage? That's not where I don't live there. I like to visit, sure. And when I visit, then I would spend my money there on hotels and eating and tourist attractions or, a tour company that deals over there, which I've done lots of times. But forcing my money to go somewhere, anywhere around the world is not not okay with me. I don't know about you all, but it's not okay with me. I'd rather keep my money. I'm the one, all of us, well, many people living paycheck to paycheck, we would like to have more of our own money. So if we get a Doge check or whatever, great, but we shouldn't even be paying income tax. We shouldn't even have property tax. We shouldn't have interest on credit cards or any kind of interest on any kind of credit because that's all going to the deep state. Anyway, right. Okay. So if we know what's supposed to come out of that whole thing's supposed to stop and everything with our birth certificate and all that, if you know, you know. But this whole thing with Ukraine has got to, the money, no more. No more money. Throw that little man's disease out of there. It was so good. I was watching when JD Vance came in and Zelensky was like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm just like, "Oh!" And then he started getting, you could see it in his face. He was getting a little bit Zelensky, right? Getting a little bit tense when he was talking. And I think part of the problem too, and not to excuse him, but I think part of the problem was maybe he wasn't very English savvy, maybe, right? So I don't know. Maybe he couldn't think of the right words and it came out wrong. I don't know. Maybe you could say that, but maybe not. So, but when JD Vance was telling him you should come over here and you shouldn't be coming to the White House and the Oval Office and making statements and going around on a propaganda tour, and I was just like, oh, here we go. I was just like, this is good. And then President Trump was just sitting there, minding his business, listening to what was going on. And then he got in the conversation between these two. And I was just like, oh, oh, no, you have no cards. You have no cards, right? Like I said earlier, you're losing the war. You can't make any demands when you're losing, right? My hands are like, right. You can't make demands when you're losing. So I don't know, whatever. And he wanted all this stuff and he wanted a guarantee. I'm like, dude, you're losing. You can't. Uh, anyway. So anyway, and then later I saw a thing on from Breitbart where he got kicked out and they ate his food. When all this conversation was going on, it was like 12 something here in Texas. And I'm just like, okay, President Trump, I could tell he wanted to get out of that thing. And I'm like, thinking President Trump's probably thinking, oh, let's just go to lunch. And then later came out that they were going, he mentioned going to lunch. And then later I saw a picture of from Breitbart about they kicked Zelensky out and they ate his lunch. And there was a picture of him walking out, in a Marine. And I'm like, they should give that meal to that Marine right there. Kick him out. Oh, that was so funny. I was just like laughing so hard and texting my sisters, like, oh my God, JD Vance just went off on Zelensky. And oh my God, now President Trump is. It was just, I was just laughing. And I'm like, man, y'all got to go watch some video. There's a lot of video out there. Megan Kelly, Fox News, Fox Business, Forbes, whatever. Talk, even some of the British channels have it on too. But it was so great to see him, like Trump is telling him, excuse me. In other words, shut up. Oh, I was laughing. It was really good. Anyway, there's going to be so much more coming out, and then that supposedly Zelensky called JD Vance a bitch. I don't know. Oh man, I don't know. I don't remember hearing that. Like I said, I couldn't understand a lot of the things he was saying because of his accent. So, and then he's trying to, I think, speak fast enough to keep caught up with what JD Vance and President Trump was saying, and so maybe some of the things didn't come out of his mouth right, but it was just classic because I never did like that guy, that little man's disease. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is just my update for today. I was at school today and I was just watching all this stuff going on, and then there was supposed to be a press conference, which didn't happen because they kicked him out. Oh my goodness. This is just, it's classic. It's epic. I love it. President Trump, we love you. We voted for this. Stop giving them money. Oh, thank you so much, President Trump and JD Vance. This was the best entertainment I've had all week. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's about 18 minutes. I have nothing more for today. And this is Celia with Hispanic Conservative, and I am out of here. Bye, y'all. See you later.